Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Christmas. This is number 5. So I'm on my way to work. It is 8:11. I should be at work around 8:30. Same routine as usual. Today I did drop off both William and Edward. William has a birthday party he's attending tomorrow, so he's going to be out of the house until probably 8 o'clock. And that's a good thing because tomorrow I'm not filming. Remember, Tuesdays and Friday I work until 6:30, so I don't get home until 7:30, quarter to 8. And what am I going to do? 5-minute video? So no video tomorrow, but I will resume on Saturday. What's on my plate today? Thursday is Bayonne Day for me, and I love going to Bayonne. Bayonne is a peninsula, and it's right after Jersey City, and it's across from Staten Island, and it's a very family-oriented community. It's clean, it's safe, it's pretty, they got malls. It's a really nice area. I love going to Bayonne. So I have a lot of people to see because the whole caseload for Bayonne is about 9 people, so I'm gonna be busy. But since today is Thursday and it's my day, what I do usually is I leave around the usual time, and then I go home and I have a good 4 hours to do what I need to do. So on my way back, what I'm probably going to do today is stop by Liberty State Park to show you a really nice view of the World Trade Center. I still call it that way. Well, everybody in New York does call it that way. The World Trade Center, and then you get to see the Statue of Liberty too, from a different angle. It's right where Ellis Island is, and if you ever come to New York and have time, I'm sure you'll do the Statue of Liberty cruise line, which is really nice because you get to see a really nice view of New York. But I strongly suggest that you do Ellis Island too and do the audio tour. It is fantastic. It's really good, especially since they've renovated it. It's wonderful. So that's that. And then I'm gonna do Q&A, right? Because I got another good 10 minutes before I get to work. So I've had a question since we've been in New York for so long as to whether or not we were there for September 11. And cue to sad music. Yes, we're going to talk about September 11. Yes, we were here. And did we watch the whole thing unfold? Yes. We witnessed the whole thing. At the time, Scott and I lived in Brooklyn, close to the river. And actually, he wasn't working at that time, but I was. But it was a Tuesday. And I worked late on Tuesdays, so I didn't have to leave the apartment until noon. So thankfully, I was not in the subway when this whole thing happened, because technically, the time at which I would leave to go to work, I would have been pretty much in the subway in that area at the time the first plane hit. So we were kind of like sleeping late, like we always did on Tuesdays. And we got a phone call from a friend of his in Ohio, telling us, hey, what's going on? Are you guys okay? And we did hear and feel something from our building. And the interesting thing was a couple of days prior to September 11, there was a mini earthquake in New York. And we had felt it in Brooklyn. And he and I were, lounging around, sleeping late, and we felt something, and we thought there was another earthquake. And it turns out it was the first plane hitting the first tower. So we had access to our roof, and we went up on the roof found the entire community of residents in that building was on the roof at that time already. And we saw the second plane hit. And it was bizarre because when we woke up and, you get up and you see the first plane that hit, you figure, okay, this is an accident. So you're shocked and you're worried, and you start in your head, you start counting the possible number of casualties. Everybody did that. But then when the second plane hit, there was this pregnant pause from everybody as we all realized this is not an accident, we're being attacked. And it was just, I don't know how to describe it. It was very, very scary. So we stayed there, and then we kept going back and forth, upstairs, downstairs, watching the TV live news. What was going on? I'm getting a barrage of phone calls from France. He's getting phone calls from, everybody's calling us, making sure we're okay. Most of the West Coast was not awake yet, because, time delay. And we watched the first tower fall from the rooftop. And then I went downstairs, and I was on the phone with my mom when the second tower fell. And let me tell you, it was anybody who doesn't live in this area and was not there that day, I don't think that you truly grasp what it was like. And it's beyond the horror and the trauma and the fear and the concern for your future, and understanding from that moment forward that life is never going to be the same. Most people watched it unfold on TV. We were there, and we had all of the added senses. We saw it, we had sight, you could smell it. It was the smell of burning plastic and burning plaster. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's a very acrid scent. And we felt it because it was definitely something that you could feel. Like the energy in Brooklyn was really, really palpable. At some point, we were back downstairs, and we could hear clunks and thumps and coming from the outside. So we looked outside on a fire escape, and pieces of molten metal were falling on the fire escape. Now, just if that gives you an idea of the proportion of the disaster itself, Brooklyn is south east of where we live, was southeast of where the towers were. And the cloud of smoke was so powerful that objects and stuff started falling a mile away from it, from the sky. It was just falling. So we stayed home for an entire week. Everything was shut down. Like literally everything was shut down. And this is one of the reasons why we keep cash in the house. Not a lot, okay, but we keep some cash in the house. Because that same day in the afternoon, I told Scott we need to go to the supermarket now before there's nothing left due to panic. And none of the cell phones were working, and none of the ATM machines were working, and none of the credit card machines at the cash registers at the supermarket were working. And I specifically remember the amount of money we had on us. We had $28.72 between the two of us, and that's all we had. So we were able to buy bread, milk, pasta sauce, and this kind of stuff that would not go bad. We didn't buy fruits, vegetables, nothing. And eventually, after 2 days or 3 days, the stuff started to get online again. Then the jets, the fighter jets, started circling New York City, and they would just circle and make a turn around the bottom of Manhattan and pass above our head, Brooklyn, pretty much every 3 hours. And that lasted a whole week, where we had the fighter pilots, the F-16, in pairs flying above us. Now, at the time, because, if you remember, Kristen Todd Whitman was the governor of New Jersey at the time, she said, the air is breathable, it's safe, don't worry about it. So like everybody else, we went downtown Manhattan to go see the whole thing. So about 3 days later, Scott and I went to New York, and we went to Ground Zero, and we were able to be maybe a block and a half away from the first pile of debris. And I took pictures, so if I have them, I'll put them in here right now. This is not a very festive Christmas-like story, but I had questions about it, so I'm gonna respond to that. And it was just very bizarre, because at that point it smelled like wet plaster, because they were just throwing water on this pile of rubble non-stop 24 hours, because it was still smoldering, and the whole smell was that of wet plaster. And I don't know if asbestos has any scent, but it smelled like insulation and wet plaster. And everything downtown Manhattan was covered with at least 3/4 of an inch worth of white powder. Like, it looked like everything was covered in snow. It was really, really eerie. It was just like, I don't know how to describe it other than just letting you know what it looked like. It looked like it was covered in snow. So, we didn't know anybody who worked there. So we were, reassured from the get-go that nobody we knew was in danger or would have passed. However, before I met Scott, I lived on 29th Street in New York City, and my apartment was literally next door from Ladder 13, and Engine, I can't remember, I think it was Engine 7, fire station. And when I lived there for quite some time, from 93 to 98, for a good 5-6 years I lived there, I was constantly hanging out with the firemen. Because they had like this garage door that was always open, and in the summer they would just have the lounge chairs, and they would smoke cigars, have a soda. They had a soda machine, so I would walk my dog, and then I would just hang out with them, go on, sit on one of the lounge chairs and spend the evening with these guys until they get a call. Out of that fire station, 5 of them died when the first tower fell. They were some of the firemen who went up while everybody else was going down. And they just didn't have a chance. And some of them actually knew they wouldn't have a chance to come back. So that's a tribute to firemen and first responders. I mean, we complain all the time, I'm going to be late because this fire is going on and they're blocking the street. Like, listen, let them do their job, right? I mean, seriously, they save lives. I don't know how many lives they saved, but they saved lives. So anyway, so how has it changed all of us? Life as we know it will never be the same. Of course, we created a new normal since. We have finally, after years and years and years, they finally rebuilt. We have the memorial now, which we still haven't visited. I don't know why. I don't think we're ready for that. But it's totally different. It's, our previous generation, they had Pearl Harbor as their defining moment and pivotal day in their life. They would refer to things as before Pearl Harbor and, that was after Pearl Harbor. Well, for our generation, who, in particular those of us who are in New York, and we're in New York at that time, everything on the timeline is referred to prior to September 11 or after September 11. It gives us that reference point. So I was pregnant with Edward at the time. I was only 3.5 months pregnant, and of course we totally freaked out, and that's how we ended up moving to Ohio, in the same town that Scott's family, because we were all scared that it was no longer safe to live in New York, and I'm not convinced that it still is. I work for a long time with people who are in the know with regards to what's really going on. And, what you see on the news in terms of plots that have been foiled, attempted terrorist attack, that's just the tip of the iceberg, you guys. I mean, we are in constant threat from a terrorist attack. And personally, it sounds like doomsday thinking, but personally, I think it's a matter of time before something else happens, because that's the world nowadays. That's the way it is. So, yeah, has it changed us? Totally. Do we suffer for post-traumatic stress disorder? I don't think we do, but we do have this thing looming over our head that it's a constant reminder that could be any day. So that was the story. I know it sounds gloomy and it's not very Christmassy, but I had a question about it, and I don't think I ever talked about that on this channel about our experience with September 11. And we baked cookies for the fire station we had on our street in Brooklyn. And here's the, if you can visualize that, every day fire trucks would come back to the station covered in that white powder, covered, okay? And, you know, usually you have maybe 6 guys on a truck and they all in the cabin. Every night you would see about 20 firemen, and they were just like grapes attached to that ladder and that fire truck on the side, hanging from the side. And these were all the firemen from all over the country and all over the world who came to volunteer to find survivors, which we know we never did. We never found anybody who made it. And they were there to help with the fire that was smoldering for weeks afterwards, and then help with the rubble. And these guys, they were just covered in black soot and white powder at the same time, and they were exhausted. So we made them cookies, and pretty much every day they had a tray of cookies that was delivered to the firehouse. So that was our contribution, which I know is not much, but that's what we did. And months after the event, before we moved to Ohio, anywhere you would go in New York City, there would be bulletin boards with those posters, have you seen so-and-so? And those were there for a long time, you guys, long time. People just didn't put posters and walked away. They would make the posters and then they updated them. So there were some folks months after the event who were still looking for the missing, because there was reports of people who were in state of shock and walked away from the scene alive. They were either, you know, on Center Street or in the neighborhood of the towers, and we just found them wandering around. Some of them, we found them wandering around in New Jersey, and they had no clue where they were. They just walked, you know. So for months we still had those posters for people who were missing, and we all know what happened to these people. So yeah, that was my story about September 11. And so we still call it the World Trade Center. It's always going to be the World Trade Center. I know I refer to it as the Freedom Tower because that's what it is, but the area itself is the World Trade Center, or Ground Zero for us. And it's never going to change because that's what it is. Anyway, so that was the story. I know, gloomy, I'm sorry. It's part of us, you know, it's part of our lives. That's who we are. We are people who lived in New York when it happened, and that defined us. And yes, we created a new normal after that, but I'm not sure that I like that normal, you know. I like the World Trade Center, I really did. Never went on top of the windows to the world or anything. I never did. Scott did. I never did. I don't know why. I just never did. Anyway, so that's the story. It's 8:34. I'm a little bit late. That's all right. I got a meeting at 9 o'clock. I still have the sniffle. You can hear it. I'll probably see you sometime around, in the afternoon as I'm going from place to place. 1:51 and I had an emergency call. I'm at Bayonne Medical Center. I'm in the parking lot and I am trying to eat a salad. It's another sorry looking 7-Eleven Cobb salad. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to start doing some paperwork for an assessment. So I got the iPad and the hotspot wireless internet thing. So I'm just going to connect to the web and start doing my paperwork while I eat the salad and go on with my life and my day. How glamorous do you think my life is? All right, can you imagine what my car looks like at the end of the week? It's pretty bad. The kids don't even want to be in the car because it's so gross. I need to clean the car before mom comes over. This car would need to be pretty much detailed, like fully detailed every single week. Anyway, I'm gonna eat my salad, I'm gonna do my paperwork, I'm gonna go see my folks there at the hospital, and then I'll leave, and on my way back I'll take you to Liberty State Park. I'll see you in a second. So as you can see, we're at sunset. You're not going to be able to see too much, but right over there is basically the harbor for Bayonne. And again, Bayonne is a peninsula. And then what you're going to see over here is the tip of Staten Island. And right there, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see, is the Verrazano Bridge. So let me try to zoom in. Here we go. Here's the Verrazano Bridge. And that bridge, where they start the New York City Marathon, links Staten Island to Brooklyn. So that piece of land you see here on the left, as I'm panning towards it, is Brooklyn. With some of its building, you can't see too much. And oh, look at this. We have the Statue of Liberty right there facing the Verrazano Bridge. So I'm going to give you a quick zoom on that as well. This is the furthest I can go. It's actually showing smaller on my screen than it is in real life. I don't know why. And then Brooklyn is behind it. And then if you keep panning this way, you get to the bottom of New York City. And here is Manhattan and what used to be the World Trade Center. So you're going to see a building right in front of it. That's a series of short buildings right here that have brown roofs. That's Ellis Island. This is where all of the migrants came in the late 1800s and beginning of the 20th century. And then we have the beginning of the Hudson River here. You probably can't see it. It's far away in the distance. Right there is the Empire State Building. And this building here marks the beginning of Jersey City, but it's separated by the river. You can't really see that on camera. So again, here's Jersey City and New York City. The Brooklyn Bridge right there. And Brooklyn, where I used to live, is the Statue of Liberty. More of Brooklyn. The end of Brooklyn right there with the Verrazano Bridge, Staten Island, and then Bayonne and sunset. So it's 5:20 in the afternoon and I'm making a change of plan. I just got back from my P.O. box and I got a ton of goodies. So I figured since I really need to finish my mom's quilt, and I like to do that before the weekend, I'm going to do that today. But obviously I'm not going to film on that because again I want it to be a surprise. So if mom is watching the videos, I don't want her to see the quilt. Okay, that makes sense. And I do have a little bit of cleaning to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Happy Mail because I have never done Happy Mail. And I want to preface that you are under no obligation whatsoever to send me anything. I just want to say that, okay? But if you decide to do it, I do my very best to answer back. And I kid you not, I have about 7 envelopes in my bag that are already stamped that I have not mailed yet, which is ridiculous because I just got back from the post office. All right, let's open this. Oh, this I had in my car. So I'm gonna open it for you. This is from Debbie in Mayville, Kentucky. Look what she made for me. Debbie, I'm gonna use it, okay? She crocheted me a dish towel, and you know what? I'm not gonna use it as a dish towel. I'm gonna use it as a cloth, washcloth. Thank you. Okay, let me get the knife so I can open some stuff. No, the chef, it's not food. It's not food. He's smelling every package. A Pioneer Christmas collection. 9 stories of finding shelter and love in a wintry frontier. That sounds awesome. Okay, new book. Yes. Christmas and romance. Yes. Oh, and Pioneer. Oh my goodness. I'm reading this tonight. Are they long stories? No, if there's 9 of them, they can't be too long. Oh, this is excellent. Oh, I'm gonna block her name so you can't see it. But look, I'm going to assume, Jody, that this is your house, and it's beautiful. Oh, you remember yesterday I was talking about how I would love to have a farm? Yes. Thank you, Jody. Oh, this is wonderful. I'm gonna start reading it tonight. This one is super special, you guys. It's fragile. Fragile. That's what it says on it. And it's coming from, are you ready for this? It's coming from Ireland. I went to Belfast when I was 14. I have very few recollection of it. Ooh. Chocolate. Okay. This is from, I'm gonna hide the name if I can. Return address. Shannon. Oh, I don't know how to say the name. Shannon, like Shannon O'Connor. Of course, these are my mom's favorite alongside the Quality Streets, and I'm gonna wait for her to be here. Thank you. Oh, there's 2 of them. Never mind, I'm opening one now. Yay, chocolate! Shannon, I'll read your letter later on. I don't want to read the whole thing. You guys send me personal letters sometimes with asking for advice and stuff, and I try to respond. I know I just got one. I just got one yesterday in my message box. This is from Linda in Windsor, Ontario. Keep up the videos, I'll keep decluttering. Good for you, Linda. Good for you. Maybe you want to send me a message once in a while to remind me that I inspired you so I can get back to it. This, I know exactly who it is. This is from Sydney. I will recognize your stamp on the back of your envelope every time you send me a card. And she sends me a card every year. I'm going to hide the name. Okay. She started sending me a card when she got pregnant with this little girl right here. And guess what? She's pregnant again. Isn't she gorgeous? Beautiful baby. Love it. Okay, this one is from Aileen in Miami, Florida. Aileen, I think we corresponded before. Edward's goofing off, I'm sorry. Love you. Bye. Happy holidays. Christmas be filled with family, love, and joy. Okay. Have a beautiful and blessed New Year. You too, Ailey and family. A little cat. That's cute. Ooh. You know, I have a knife and I'm doing it with my... I even have a fox letter opener, but I'm too lazy to go in the office. Oh, I'm sure people will comment about how I open the letters. Thomas Kincaid. Love the glitter. Can you see the glitter? Thank you, Patty. Merry Christmas to you too. Michelle. Greenland, New Hampshire. Michelle, I think we corresponded before too. Some of those addresses and names sound familiar. Oh, what a beautiful card. Look at this. This is from a company named Love Pop. You can find their cards at lovepop.com. This is really pretty. Look. Are you ready? Look at this. How pretty is that? Michelle, that's really a beautiful card. You guys are probably wondering, Sophia, what'd you do with all those cards? They're downstairs in a big bin. I got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of your cards. And I have a coffee, I'm not drinking. This is from Marlene in Millbrook, Alabama. I would love to visit the South. I never been there. And she sent me a letter. Best wishes for the new year. My daughter Nadine, hello Nadine, introduced me to your great challenge and I enjoy it very much. Oh, and she speaks in French. J'ai de la famille en Provence. J'étais là-bas en 2004 la dernière fois. Je m'appelle Marlène. Mais au Facebook, c'est blabla. Long story. I was born in Izmir, Turkey. Et mes parents ont changé mon nom. Huh. Wow. What a fantastic story. Alright, so in essence, she speaks French. She was born in Turkey with a different name and her parents changed her name at some point. This is fantastic. Votre français est très bon, Marlène. Très bien. Vanessa, St. Cloud, Florida. Vanessa, I think we've been corresponding too. There's just some names, like town names, that just stick, you know, in your head. This is pretty. Not a creature was stirring. Let's see, the night before Christmas. May you enjoy peace, tranquility, and the comfort of good friends this season. I sure will. This is from Alan in Chicago, Illinois. Never been there either. Can you see it? Ooh, and this, oh, look. You see the pop-up? Ain't it cute? These are cute. Okay. And she's sending me a return label and a stamp. You're so sweet. You shouldn't do that because you shouldn't have to do that because it's not, I'm responding. You don't have to, like, you're not improving your odds. Your odds are already up there. Don't worry about it. But I appreciate it. That's very sweet of you. This is from Sylvia in Astoria, New York. Sylvia, you're not that far from me. I used to work in Long Island City, so, oh, look at how pretty this is. Look at this pretty card. I hope you can see because my glasses don't work for. Wish you and your family many blessings and a clean kitchen. Yes, in the new year, I'm hooked on your cleaning and cooking, especially French cuisine. Well, I need to do more, don't I? Videos, keep them coming. Sylvia, a YouTube subby. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm not going to respond to that today. I will, trust me, I will, before the holidays, hopefully. But I have to thank you guys for all of the goodies. Definitely gonna read this tonight, and then the After 8. And guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and open one. So, listen, I hope you enjoyed this video today. I'm gonna stop here because, like I said, I want to do some cleaning, and there's really no sense of me trying to do some decoration. Now, you know what, at night it just doesn't look the same, either for you or for me, so I'm trying to be quiet because otherwise somebody's gonna try to come here and take it. This one right here, you cannot have it. You can't have it. It's not for you. Sorry. Nope. Oh, I'm gonna dip it in the coffee. There we go. Here's the other one. Love you. I know you just got fed. Come on. I shouldn't be chewing and talking at the same time. Anyway, I'm done with this video, you guys. Oh, and I'm also done with the the buffet. I'm not doing anything else on it. I think it's perfect the way it is. I'll definitely finish the decoration this weekend, and next week I'm not sure what's on my plate. But my days are filled. You see that, right? And I really, really want to finish my mom's quilt. So no decorating for me. And if you're wondering what's for dinner tonight, we're finishing the soup and we're finishing the chicken that I had. And I'm gonna do some vegetables and I'll put some rice in the crock pot and put some butter on it, and that's about it. Okay. All right, say goodbye. Oh, don't sneeze on me. All right, so I'll see you Saturday. Thank you for watching, you guys. Bye. And thank you all for your email and the package. And I'm having another chocolate. Okay, bye. No, not for you. You can't have this. No, neither can you. Look at them, both of them. You can't have this.